Hammaga salom. Bugun biz siz bilan 10-darsimizni boshlaymiz va bugungi darsimizda biz 1, 2, 3 grammatik mavzularimizni takrorlab, mustahkamlab olamiz. Tayyormisiz? Boshladik. So, in exercise number 1, what we have to do, if you remember, in our unit number 1, we learned past simple. Esingizda bo'lsa, birinchi unitimizda past simple mavzusini yodlagan edik. Va shu yerda biz fe'llarni past simple, either regular or irregular form we have to use. So, please pause the video for 2 minutes and do this exercise. Do this honestly because this is beneficial for you. Hozir videoni 2 minutga to'xtatasiz va shu 2 minut ichida shu mashqni bajaring. Va keyin birgalikda biz tekshiramiz. Alright, so let's check. And what we have to use past simple, positive, negative, or question forms. So the first one, she walked to the mall, and negative will be she didn't or she did not walk to the sports club. Second, she bought a t-shirt, she didn't buy trainers. And fourth, the question form, did she buy a t-shirt? Yes, she did. And the fifth, did she buy a watch? No, she didn't. I hope your answers are also same. Let's move on to the next exercise. Siz umid qilamanki sizni ham javoblaringiz xuddi shunday. Endi biz ikkinchi mashqimizga o'tamiz. In exercise number 2, we have to use here past continuous. If you remember, we use I, he, she, it with was, and we, you and they, we use with were. So here we have to use this was or were. Again, pause the video and do it by yourself and then we will check. Yana bir marta siz videoni to'xtatasiz va birgalikda keyin biz tekshiramiz. So what we have done here, we have used here past continuous. The form of past continuous is was were plus verb ing. Do not forget to use verb ing. Now let's check the answers. So the second one, they weren't sitting in the kitchen. So this is the first one. So the first one, they weren't sitting in the kitchen. Second, he was reading a book. Third, he wasn't watching television. Fourth, was she eating ice cream? Yes, she was. Were they listening to music? No, they weren't. So again, not very much difficult exercise, and I hope you remember all these topics, right? Good job. Now we move on to our next exercise. Again, this is still revision part. In exercise number 3, what we have to do here is we have to use comparative adjectives. Again, if you remember, we learned with you this topic recently, and we said that if we have got one syllable, we use adjective plus er plus then. Yes, then means dan ko'ra. And if we have got 2 plus syllables like dangerous, then we have to use more plus adjective plus then. For example, more dangerous. And the first one example is bigger, hotter, happier, and others. So again, pause the video and let's do this exercise. Next exercise, we are moving on to next exercise, and in this exercise we have to use comparative and superlative adjectives. If you remember, if we have got one syllable, then we use more plus. So if you remember, if we have got one syllable like the word happy, then we use adjective plus er. In 2 plus syllables, we have to use more plus adjective. And do not forget to use then. Then means dan ko'ra. In superlative adjectives, again the same. If we have got one syllable, then we use adjective the plus adjective plus est. For example, the tallest. And if we have got 2 plus syllables, then we have to use the plus most plus adjective. For example, the most dangerous. So I hope you remember this topic because we have learned it recently. Now let's do this exercise. Let's check. The first one, the boat is the most expensive. If you compare all of them, you can see that the boat is the most expensive. Second one, the boat is more expensive than the car. So it's more expensive because it has got more than 5, but here we only have 3. Next one, third, the car is more beautiful than the bike. Fourth, the boat is more beautiful than the car, so it looks prettier than the car. And the last one, the boat is the most beautiful. So let's move further. In our exercise number 4, what we've got to do here is we have to use here as plus adjective plus s, which means similar to or the same as something or someone. Bizning 4-chi mashqimizda biz s plus sifat plus sni ishlatishimiz kerak. Bu struktura xuddi shundayni bildiradi. Masalan, he is as smart as his brother. Now, let's do this exercise. Alright, so let's check. The first sentence, the sheep is not as old as the horse. Second one, the dog is as big as the sheep. Third, the sheep is not as big as the horse. And sentence number 4, the sheep is as heavy as the dog. And the last one, the dog is not as heavy as the horse. In our exercise number 5, what we have to use here could or couldn't. What was it? Yes, it was the past form of can, something that we had ability to do in the past. And the positive, negative, and question forms we only use could. I could do my homework yesterday. I couldn't do my homework yesterday. Could you do your homework yesterday? Let's do this exercise. So in our exercise number 5, what we have to do, we have to use to plus adjective, which means very much, or could or couldn't, which means the past form of can, ability. Yes, something that we could do in the past. And remember, in positive, negative, and question forms, we only have to use could. I could do my homework, I couldn't do my homework, and could you do your homework? And to plus adjective, too tired. I was too tired yesterday to go to the park. So, juda ham. Right? Alright, so let's do this exercise. Alright, so let's check our answer. So the first sentence, I couldn't do the homework. Sentence number 2, we could hear the birds. Sentence number 3, the horse was too old. Sentence number 4, the trousers were too expensive. And the sentence number 5 is the homework was too difficult. Very good. Let's move to our last grammar exercise. Alright, let's move to our last exercise, which is related to phonics. Biz siz bilan oxirgi mashqimizga o'tamiz va bu mashq fonetikaga bag'ishlangan. If you remember, we learned different words if you remember, we learned with you different letters which sound differently. For example, if we have 2 O, then it will sound as U, yes, for example, book. But if we have, let's say, double O, but we also have 2 exceptions, they are door and floor and other words. So let's do this exercise. Alright, so let's check our answers. The first one is cook, book, wood, and hook. Next, 5th, push, pull, and bull. And 8, 9, 10 is head, bread, and thread. What was thread? Thread was ip. Yes? Good job. So this is the end of our grammar revision. Now we move to our writing revision, and this will be the end of our revision part. And this will be the end of our revision lesson. So in our writing part, what we have to do is exercise number 1 is very much easy. We just have to put these words into this small text. And in exercise number 2, what we have to do here is to make a short story using all these words. So let's get started. Alright, so let's check our answers. Exercise number 1. On Mondays, you went to the mall. She saw a dress, a skirt, and a t-shirt. The dress was more beautiful than the skirt. She couldn't buy the dress because it was too expensive. In exercise number 2, we have to write one short story using looking at these pictures. So again, I will tell my story might be different than yours, but because might be different than yours because all of us have different ideas. Yana bir marta aytib ketaman, mening hikoyam sizni hikoyangizdan ko'ra boshqacha bo'lishi mumkin, chunki har bitta insonni o'zini fikrlari bor. So let's read it. On Wednesday, Jack went to the mall. He played different games. First, he played a card game, and it was for young people. It was the most exciting game. Then he played football game. It wasn't as exciting as card game. It wasn't as exciting as the card game. And then the last game that he played was the space game. And the space game was the most boring game. So, I hope you answered. So, I hope you get the clear picture. So, this is the end of our revision part. I hope every single topic is clear for you and you remember all of them. And all the answers were also the same as mine. Bizning takrorlash qismimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetdi va men umid qilamanki, hamma mavzular sizga tushunarli va boshqa savollaringiz qolmadi. Ko'rishguncha, xayr!